We are now joined by Jonathan Liss from London. He is the Deputy Director of think tank British Influence and he's a journalist as well. Welcome to the broadcaster.
Hello.
Jonathan, let's start right off with, the party chair admitting that the Conservatives are the underdogs. It's a big statement. Key party members are quitting, anti-government protests are going on as well. Now, from the outside, it does not really look like anything is going in the favour of the Conservatives. Do you feel they can do anything at this moment in this conference to salvage their position leading up to the elections?
Well, they're going to throw everything at it. Rishi Sunak has completely changed his strategy for the first sort of 10 months of his premiership from last October. He was kind of presenting himself as a steady figure who would sort of steady the ship of state, if you like, and after the turbulence of Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, and the party has been tanking. And so now he's panicking, he's desperate, and he's completely changing tack. And now he's sort of throwing out policies all over the place. Every single day there's a new announcement. Every single day there's a policy that seems to come out of nowhere, and people don't know what to make of it. But it feels like desperation because that's what it is. And I don't see how any of it is going to change the course of the polls. Fundamentally, the economy is in a bad way. People are feeling very, very hard at the moment in the cost of living, in their wages. Nothing in Britain feels like it's working. These are the fundamental problems. And while those problems are ongoing, Rishi Sunak doesn't really stand a chance.
Well, that's a sentiment which is being widely echoed around the UK, that he does not stand a chance, though he's signalled his support for tax cuts, but again refused to put any timetable on announcing them. Then there's the HS2 project, again, not a clear yes or no answer. He said the priority of the government is to bring down the inflation. Can we expect any announcement on this from him? Because these are things which are sure to appease the audiences or, the citizens over there. But anything big that he can do at this moment to salvage his situation?
Well, one thing I would be expecting would be for him to announce slashing inheritance tax, sometimes was known as death duties, not before the election, but maybe as a kind of a manifesto promise, because a lot of people in Britain think it's an unfair tax, even though only 4% of estates pay it. So that might be something that he would try and pull out of the bag, but I don't think it would be very successful because people have other priorities at the moment. As for HS2, the high-speed rail link, the Conservatives are meeting in Manchester, and High Speed 2 is meant to be the key way of connecting London with Manchester with the high-speed rail links that exist in many countries around the world, but only a tiny, tiny little bit in Britain. And so it just makes no sense for him to be going up to Manchester and sort of making an announcement that the Manchester rail link is going to be scrapped or avoiding comment on it. So this is why Rishi Sunak just isn't very good at politics, first and foremost.
Now, Jonathan, if he were to just look forward from here, if not Rishi Sunak, if not the Tories, given the situation that the opposition comes in, what is next in terms of all these policies? Do we see them rolling out if this current government is ousted?
I mean, it's the Labour Party is almost certain to sort of take control next year. And, the policies that Sunak is announcing, either there is no time to implement them before the next election, or they are going to be saved up for a manifesto. So really, it's just talk. Nothing is going to happen. And that's also a really important point about Britain's future, because Britain feels paralysed at the moment, because the government can be making all kinds of announcements, but because everyone expects Labour to take over in a year or less than a year, they're not going to be implemented, and so no one's paying attention. Net zero being a good example. Rishi Sunak announced that the ban on diesel and petrol cars will be extended to 2035, but Labour is saying, no, we're going to keep them at 2030. And so a lot of businesses will be keeping the 2030 target because they expect Labour to win.
Well, given what we saw just months ago, barely a year ago. Let's see how it pans out, because clearly Rishi Sunak, as per your statements that we've just heard, and the general sentiment that we're seeing, I think he is on his way out. But of course, you never know until the results are finally out. We'll definitely keep everyone abreast of all that's happening in the UK. Thank you so much, Jonathan Liss, for joining in on the broadcast and sharing your insights on this.
Thanks.